Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Airsoft, where today I'm going to unbox this KWA QRF Mod 1. Hi guys, and welcome back. If you do like my video today, please do like and subscribe, it really helps me out. So, courtesy of the lovely gentlemen at JTAC Airsoft, I have got this fantastic KWA QRF to unbox and disassemble in two separate videos, and I'm really happy about that. I've been really looking forward to this to see what they're like and things. So we've managed to get the Mod 1 version today. That's with the curved mags. I believe the Mod 0 is coming out, and that will use the TK45 mags, or can use the TK45 mags, but I'm not 100% sure on that yet. So I've got it just purely for the purposes of unboxing and a disassembly. Unfortunately, it's not one I can take to shoot. So we'll get started with the box straight away. They've definitely uprated the boxes. I'm really happy with that. They've got a nice little picture on there. Although I've noticed there is a little issue there with the rear sight. It looks like they are missing a nut and bolt out without keeping it down. But that was me being picky. So you just get a little bit of details about what's in here. A little bit of warning on the back. Branding on the side. Branding on the side, specifically which model you've got here, so you know which one it is, and a little bit more about the features, and the underside as well is the features of it as well. So it is a 2.5 AEG, which means it's non-recoil. Now, it's hit and miss. Some people really like nice inlays in the box. Other people don't give a monkeys. Personally, once I've taken it out of the box goes up in my loft anyway, so it really doesn't matter to me what the internals are like. As long as it's safe and secure, that's definitely safe and secure. So I'm happy with that. That is a beauty, and I'm really impressed with that. So what I'll do is, first of all, I'll just lift the little bag of bump out. So you get your usual sticker, you get a link to download the manual, you get your warranty card, and ooh, that's quite nice. So it's got a M-lock front end, which we'll discuss in a minute. They've actually provided 2 M-lock rails with it, which I'm really happy about. It just means you can add a couple of accessories from the outset, and then you've got your variable FPS tool. So if you take the stock off, or the little plate in the stock that holds it on, you can slide this into your spring guide at the back of the quick change spring system, and you can use this to adjust your FPS without ever actually having to go inside the gearbox, which, particularly if you're in the UK like I am, that is really helpful to you. So get that out of the way. Next is your magazine that's got some warning over the top. It says make sure you press down onto the magazine follower before inserting into the gun. So it's basically telling you that don't put it in the gun without first pushing the follower down into it. So we'll just lightly peel this sticker off. I'm not going to lie to you, KWA, I'm not mega impressed with your sticker. It's already gunked up on things. So get that out of the way. So, remove most of the sticker. So here is the follower, and they are warning you to make sure that that is clicked down inside the mag before you insert it. It does look awful like an MP5 mag, very similar structure, but different. That is obviously a mid-cap magazine as well. It is an 80 round mid-cap magazine. Quite nice, quite solid. There's a little bit of weight to it, probably a little bit heavier than most MP5 mags. So I'm sure it'll fit and feed lovely. And then we'll lift it up straight away. You can tell it's all metal. There's some real nice weight to this, and it feels really heavy in the hands. Obviously there's not a recoil system in the back, so you're just carrying the sheer weight of it. And I'll be honest, that is really nice to hold in your hands. It feels really comfortable. The mag clicks in really solid, and look at that, look how nice that is. What an absolute beauty of a piece of kit. I'm dead happy with that. It looks ace. Wow. Obviously, it is very similar in terms of look and feel to their other Ronin stuff. So the T6, the TK45, the Ronin Recon series and things like that. They all have very similar looks and feels, and do you know what? It's really working for me and for KWA at the minute. That these externals are looking really, really nice, and it just kind of gives a bit of a brand sort of theme through everything. So at the front, you've got this really nice, aggressive looking muzzle brake at the front. I really like that because it's the UK edition. It's coming with a black one and not an orange one. You've then got your typical KWA nylon flip-up sights, which are nice, box standard, but they click up and down really nice and authoritatively. I do like that, same as a TK45, they've integrated this little rail at the front here. I found that that's useful to chuck a torch on there if you're doing urban sites with dark areas. Chuck a torch on there, get your pressure switch further back where your hands sit, and it's convenient and means then you've still got the two other rails from the instruction manual packet that can put other accessories on there and things like a vert grip, or you could get an M-lock vert grip on there as well. You're then onto the body, and it is completely metal. I believe it is the exact same gearbox that we see in the TK45, the T6, anything now, and it is definitely compatible, it says on the box, with basically Gate Titans, if that's what you want to do with it. I will put a battery in a minute to see what it's shooting like on a 7.4 and an 11.1. So we'll flip it over this side of the receiver and have a look. So you've got, I do like these extended mag release catch, so it's nice and easy when you're shooting, if you're right-handed, to catch that. Lefties as well are in there. They've got a left-handed mag catch, ambidextrous mag catch, as is the selector as well, which is really handy to have an ambidextrous selector. If I pull the handle back, charging handle back, it will expose the hop unit there, which looks like it's same as the other models that they're using, the same one across the board, which is absolutely fine. If I push that handle up there, it will lock the little window back until I drop it down, which is quite handy to help you adjust the hop up without having to keep pulling back on the charging handle. Now I do like the charging handle, it's a little bit different, a little bit nice, and I'd like that you need to pull back on both sides to get it to release, so that both of these little clips come off and out. Now this stock, it's gone more on the end, particularly it's gone more MP5J for me, it kind of looks like, and to adjust it, you press the button underneath and pull back on it, and it is, I believe, is it 1 or 2 positions? So that's 1, 2 positions, so that's fully extended, that's the midpoint, and that's fully collapsed. Now that is obviously shorter than an M4 and makes it very, very short to shoulder, so if you are playing a lot of CQB, maybe you want that shortness. Putting it out to the mid setting is about, probably, there's not much difference between an M4 length collapsible stock and this in that setting. And then obviously if you need that extra little bit of room in there on your arm, you've got particularly big arms, or you like being stretched out, you can obviously go with the full extension, and that's obviously similar to having an M4 stock fully pulled out, not quite fully pulled out, but out a couple of notches. So this is how we then access the battery compartment. I'll remove the stock. If you push the button in again and slide, the stock fully comes out, and then we've got the battery compartment in there. Now, by standard, I do think they're a little bit small in there. I'm a little bit disappointed that there is little in there as they seem to be. That said, bear with me. I have got a new, different, still 2600 milliamp, but a little bit smaller form factor than the usual one I use. So let's just see if that will actually fit in there, and it will. No, not quite. It goes a long way in, but it's not going to go quite in there. I'll try again. So you're on a 7.4 of about that length, it would go in quite nicely, and that one, if I drop that one in, that's mostly in there. Still, it's going to stick out the end a little bit. What I can confirm quite happily is that it will accept the AirTech Studios battery extension, which is great news for people, because I know people with these types of stock already from KWA usually have one of these extensions on there, just because it just gives you that extra couple of inch of battery storage. Your stock will have to sit on that middle setting, which is not a problem. It's probably how most people would play it anyway, but it does mean that you can then make use of bigger batteries to run in there. So obviously it is compatible with that extension. What I'll do now is I'll put batteries on it, the usual 2 batteries that I use, so we can hear what it's like. So I've got the 7.4 2200 milliamp, and that's safe, single shot, full auto. Now it's respectable, and obviously it's not driving the recoil engine, so that high torque motor can turn over a little bit quicker, and that's great. But considering that, you know, SEMA are doing their Platinum Edition now, and they've got the high-speed motor in there and things, you would hope maybe they'd spice things up a little bit. That said, a lot of the literature recommends 11.1 volt batteries because these are generally made for the American market, and they love 11.1s, or so I'm told. If that's wrong, please do tell me. I would like to hear from some Americans about whether they're a big fan of 11.1 or not. So, safe, single, obviously absolute million times better, and full auto, that's that fantastic rate of fire, and that's pretty much what it's designed for, and it will run quite happily on that battery without any issues. Obviously, in England, you have got a limit of 350 feet per second when you're shooting 0.2 gram BBs out with this, so you could use the adjustment tool to lower the FPS. Alternatively, you could remove the spring altogether because it uses standard AEG springs because it's not recoil, and you could put in an FPS spring that's more appropriate. That weaker spring in turn will allow the motor to turn the gearbox over a little bit snappier, so that would raise the rate of fire without having to actually change the motor. Because it's not having to run a recoil engine though, you could just change that motor for a high-speed motor, and it will give you a much nicer rate of fire, even just from a 7.4 volt. So I'm not going to chrono this one just purely because there's no need to, because it's variable FPS, and it gives you quite a big variation range of FPS using that tool, which I do think, particularly for on the fly when you need it, the ability to go and change your FPS within a few minutes is brilliant without having to even change a spring. Great. I believe it can go from about 320 up to nearly 400, or so I'm told from what I've read online. I've not needed to adjust one of these, and even the TK45C that I had that painted up, I just put in a downgrade spring because I felt like that was a better option for me. That said, absolutely beautiful. I am excited to see the other version that uses the straight mags because I like the little straight mags a little bit more. But if you are looking for an MP5 variant that's gonna take some absolute use and abuse, you can't go wrong with this. I would suspect, and I'll confirm it in the disassembly video, that the same hot rubber is in use, in which case, particularly if in the UK, I would change it out and put in something like a Tokyo Marui or a Prometheus purple air seal rubber. I've had fantastic results out of those. All in all though, it is a fantastic package. It's running at about £375 in the UK. That's what JTAC's selling them at. And having owned or still own 3 recoil KWAs that have not once broken down yet, and I've been running them for quite a while and an awful lot of rounds through them, I can honestly say they are good value for money and they are solidly reliable. Change the hot rubber out and you will not be disappointed. They are fantastic pieces of kit and they look brilliant. You know, the weighting, the solidity of it, the fact that you get a couple extra rails, you can adjust your FPS. What a package. Just, you know, if you're in the market for this sort of thing, I can't recommend KWA in general enough. They will not do you wrong. So I will leave the usual photos in a moment. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do like and subscribe. It really does help me out. And I will see you next time. Bye.